Hello and welcome. My name is Melissa Maloney, and along with Wendy Wood, I am co-founder of the Little Birth Company. And in this mini-series, I thought it would be nice to share with you how I came into the world of hypnobirthing. And like so many, my journey into hypnobirthing began when I was pregnant with my own children. But we also have lots of teachers at the Little Birth Company who haven't had their own children and who have completely different journeys into and reasons as to why they became a hypnobirthing teacher. But mine was because a friend of the family taught hypnobirthing. So my husband Dave and I went along to hypnobirthing classes with her. We'd planned to do 3 sessions 1-to-1, and I was literally blown away in that first hypnobirthing class. So many light bulb moments. But what I was most blown away about was just the fact that it was so simple. Like once you kind of understood the mind-body connection and the tools and how they work and why they work and of course the physiology of birth, it was just like, this is just like a no-brainer. And I was equally as excited as also a little bit frustrated in the fact that I couldn't believe that I'd got to my mid-30s and didn't know this stuff, because I was just like, this isn't just useful for pregnancy and birth, this is useful for life. And why on earth don't we already all know this? We should all know this. So yeah, I absolutely loved the sessions. I think what I loved as a big part of it that I loved was it was really inclusive of Dave, who was obviously going to be my birth partner. And it felt like it gave him a real role and a real understanding of there was a lot that he could do to support me through my pregnancies and birth experiences. So before our final hypnobirthing class, quite late on in pregnancy, actually, we found out that I had gestational diabetes and that Freddie was breech. So we had been signed over to the home birth team. I was planning on a home birth. My home birth midwife rang me and said, you've tested positive for gestational diabetes, and I was going in that day for a scan, and yeah, Freddie was breech. So at that point we were like, oh well, no more hypnobirthing, no more home birth. Spoke to my hypnobirthing teacher and said, we won't be coming along to the final session because I'm now going to be having a planned cesarean, which is really interesting because she didn't say, oh, you should come to the final session, because everything you're going to learn is still going to help you regardless of your birth experience. It was very much, we're talking sort of 14 years ago now, that you went to hypnobirthing classes because you were having a home birth and you wanted an alternative to pain relief and some other ways to support you through that home birth. And once we'd ruled out a home birth and we were having this planned cesarean, we were like, oh, well, we don't need hypnobirthing anymore, which to me now just seems crazy. And it was through my birth experiences that made me begin to question that narrative. And it has moved a long way over the last 10 years and has evolved. We know that hypnobirthing supports all births. So I had a really positive cesarean birth with Freddie. And then after having Freddie, I trained as a doula. When I was pregnant with George, I then trained as a hypnobirthing teacher. And went on to have a home birth with George. So had a really positive home birth. So I'd had a previous cesarean. So I had all these ticks in like high risk boxes. I was geriatric mum, so I was of a certain age, obviously having had a previous cesarean, and I'd got gestational diabetes again. So I was classed as high risk, but was fully supported in my home birth because I'd already built a relationship with the home birth team through my first pregnancy. And so, yeah, I had a home birth with George. He was a whopping 11 pounds. So it was definitely challenging. And there is no way I doubt that I would have coped with the experience in the way that I did if I hadn't have had all my hypnobirthing tools. But it was the fact that I'd had these 2 very, very different birth experiences, one very medicalised and one at home, that made me begin to question kind of the narrative around hypnobirthing, in that hypnobirthing was, you did hypnobirthing if you wanted a home birth. I knew I'd used my I'd used everything I'd learned through both of my pregnancies, both of my birth experiences, and both of my pregnancies and postnatally, and I began to realise that everything that we were learning wasn't just about that moment of birth and how we birthed our babies, but the hormones that we work with in hypnobirthing, it's about an accumulative effect of them. So at no point really do we want to give up on that, because our mode of birth is going to be different. We actually want to be working with the hormones all the way through pregnancy, because that's all going to help. Then you have your moment of birth, however that is for you, and then you continue to work with those hormones postnatally that are going to help you with bonding, feeding, healing, preventing, postnatal depression, those sorts of things. So hypnobirthing is more than just giving you the tools for birth. It is about giving you the tools to support your body and your physiology through pregnancy, through birth and beyond. And just because your actual birth experience might not be what you hoped for, so it might be more medicalized than you hoped, it doesn't mean that you give up on your hypnobirthing. I think that people think that hypnobirthing is a type of birth, and it's not a type of birth. It is a collection of knowledge and tools that are going to empower you to support you through your birth experience. And that, like I said before, that narrative has definitely changed a lot over the past sort of 10 years or so. There are still some, I think, hypnobirthing programs that very much much more push for home births and, unmedicated births. But we know at the Little Birth Company that hypnobirthing is for all births. And in fact, we do have, our instructors have materials to teach a specific positive cesarean workshop. So for if any reason you are having a planned cesarean, there is a workshop designed where it gives you the hypnobirthing tools to support you through a cesarean, and it gives you the knowledge to know exactly what your options are. A big part of hypnobirthing is about learning your options, and I think when we go down a route where it's more medicalized, we just kind of give up and just think, oh well, none of it's in my hands now, and I'll just hand over to the medical team. And actually you still have so many choices, and the more choices that you have and understand, the more you're going to feel in control, and the more we feel kind of in control, and that we are making the decisions rather than things being done to us. We feel in control of those choices and decisions and fully informed. Then you are much likely to reflect on that birth experience as a positive experience. So that's my journey into sort of becoming a hypnobirthing teacher. So after George was born, I built my business locally, and then back in 2018, Wendy and I had known each other online for quite a number of years. We were working with the same business coach, and we met at an in-person event and just kind of chatted for 2 days. We met up a week later. We just had such an aligned vision for what we wanted from a hypnobirthing program that we hadn't found elsewhere. And we both taught a number of different programs, and some of them, were brilliant. But they were, I guess, we felt like there was always something missing in one of them. So we came together, and our vision for what we wanted to create was like completely ridiculously aligned. And the Little Birth Company was born and launched, fairly quickly. And, it's like all those things, when it's the right thing, it happens with actual ease. Not to say there wasn't a lot of effort put into creating all the content, but everything came about with relative ease. And, at the time of recording this, we are 6.5 years into this business, which is wild and wonderful. We celebrate every time somebody signs up to train with us. We don't take anything for granted, and we absolutely adore all of our members of the Little Birth Company family. So if you are considering training with us, please do reach out. All the details are here below this video or above, wherever. Go to the website www.thelittlebirthcompany.co.uk. There's loads of information there. You can access like a catalogue there, a brochure, and all the information is on the website. You can also book a call with Wendy or I, or both of us, if you want to ask more questions about training to become a hypnobirthing teacher with a little birth company. So yes, thank you so much for being here, and I will see you all soon.